Hello and welcome back, friends. My name is Michael Yates, and this is the Ridgeview Pod, where we try to cover everything hope, healing, and recovery related. There are a few things that equal that standard of conveyance of hope, healing, and recovery, like a RAM clinic, remote area medical. And it's my great pleasure to once again have as a guest Amanda Taylor, who is helping oversee and coordinate this great effort. So
with a team of people, yes.
Where would we be without a team?
No, yeah, I would not be able to juggle and manage it all.
So welcome, glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you again, Michael, and it's great to have this opportunity. So thank you very much.
So give us some of the details of when is the RAM clinic, where is it going to be, and what do folks need to know about the best opportunity to capitalize on the service that they offer?
Okay, our remote area medical clinic for Clinton is going to be November 2nd and 3rd. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. Saturday will be a full day of services, and Sunday a half day. The location will be First Baptist Church of Clinton is the hosting site, and the address for that is 225 North Main Street, Clinton, Tennessee 37716. We actually have two different addresses at the church of our two different buildings, and it'll be in both buildings, but that's kind of the main, that'll get you there. So we'll be offering dental services, vision services, and medical services. And in dental, everything from cleanings to extractions to fillings. And in vision, have the on-site glasses trailer, and so you can get your eyes checked and get them screened for health issues and things, and then get your glasses made there on site, unless you're a child, in which case they send off because they have to have the safety lenses. And then in medical, there'll be just kind of general practice, family practice doctors there, as well as a woman's health doctor. And so they'll be providing potentially breast exams and pap smears and different things that women might need as well. So we'll have that opportunity. If you're a patient and you're seeking services, the city parking lot there in Clinton will be our patient parking lot, and you can go and start parking there anytime you please, but on Friday evening, we'll start the registration process in the parking lot about 5:30. And so they'll start to mark the cars and get the order of them and get the contact information for buzzing the cars as they do now to make the line queue up. So
I mean, just to pause right there in that moment and pay witness to what you're saying, people are lining up the night before to get some of these basic services.
Yes, they spend all night in the parking lot, and sometimes even longer than that, to line up for services. And they do that on the next night, as well. So it's a first come, first served basis, and so as long as we have the providers are really key, and maybe it's a good time to point out that fact that you can't have a RAM clinic without local providers that are giving their time and their services, and we still are in need of some, and maybe we can come back and highlight that later. But yeah, really just an astronomical amount of people that need these services and are able to come and get them for free. No ID required, no proof of residency required. Just if you're in need, you come and try to get in line and get the services.
And to that regard, just as to provide verification of that, I had the good fortune years ago to work a RAM clinic in Blount County, and I was at the registration desk. So I was the one that was as folks were coming in, getting basic information, and I can attest there is no expectation to provide any kind of insurance card. There's no payment collected. There was no ID required. It was, you have a need, you come here, we're going to help you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I still am humbled by and struck by the types of folks that I was sitting across from.
Yeah.
I mean, these were, in many ways, their neighbors.
Yeah, wonderful folk.
And many of them were single parents with a armful of kids. I was very touched by the level of need. I mean, let no one be mistaken by the number of folks that still can't get some of these basic needs met and have to show up and sleep in a parking lot the night before, waiting for something that is as painful as an oral issue, which, if anyone has had one, you know it can be crippling.
And very stressful. We're glad for, maybe we have a resource area, of local helping agencies that come, and RAM is absolutely wonderful, and the things they provide are just amazing. Folks doing amazing things, but a little bit here today, gone tomorrow. But our helping agencies here in the county are the folks on the ground every day providing these services, and we'll deal with the ongoing needs of patients. So we have a resource area where they can set up tables and provide information and freebies. And one of the things that Second Harvest provides is a food box of soft food that they might need afterwards. And so in ways through the resource area we can help people with physical needs, but also habit, it would come with their dogs. And I just think about how stressful, as you're saying, dental services are, and then to be able to see a kind face from a volunteer, or a handshake, or maybe even a hug, and maybe even to get to pet a dog for a couple of minutes can really calm the nerves and the stress of having to be in the parking lot overnight, not sleeping well beforehand. It can be difficult, but worth it in the end.
Well, I could tell just in both of our facial reactions, you talking about a warm handshake or petting a dog, and we both smiled, because that's what animals can do for us. That's a neat asset to the resource.
And if you've not ever gotten a chance to Google remote area medical clinic, it's really neat to read the history of it and to find out more information there. So it's got a really neat history to it. But of course, working all around the world in some of the most remote areas, providing services. And I didn't get to work with RAM in China, but I was working a dental clinic in China. I got to be the flashlight holder. So, besides having a dental issue or two myself to have to deal with, it looks painful. The things that people go through, but it's needed care, and so it's good that they're able to provide that.
So if I'm watching this and I'm thinking about, let's say I'm interested in volunteering, is there still time to volunteer?
Yeah, it depends on in what means you would like to volunteer. The volunteer registration closes today, so if you want to, if you really need to volunteer, such as if you're a professional that would like to give their services, we can still try to register you through the back door, but the general public registration closes today. It takes a lot of volunteers to run an operation like this. We have 105 volunteers signed up for Friday. That's just setting up. 365 for Saturday. 285 for Sunday. So over 400 volunteers, I think, if you had to quantify it, to put the thing together. And I think our general support volunteers are fairly full at this point. But there are still things that are needed that you can do if you want to volunteer time and services. But also, if you're willing to provide some things, there are some in-kind items that we still need. We have to feed all of the volunteers, and so that's a major undertaking. And then there are still random things we may need, like, I don't know, napkins and gloves, for cleaning toilets, just random things that may still be needed. And so we'll give my contact information later on, and I can connect you to the right area of our RAM staff that can help you to know what's best to give in kind. You can also donate. We still need finances. The more RAM is a big undertaking for our church to be the CHD, or the community host group of a RAM clinic. Takes over a year in planning and over $40,000 sometimes in fundraising, at least it does for us. And so the more money that we get, though, the more we can help people with aftercare. Sometimes you need follow-up care to these services, and so also the more pap smears we can offer, the more specialty services we can do. And we're also trying to offer maybe some vaccines, and some of those we may have to purchase. service. And so the more money we get, the more we can offer to people. And so if people want to give, they can give online. You can go to the church website, www.fbclinton.org/give. And on there, you can specify to the rural area medical clinic. There's also a RAM tab on the website where you can see more information and get directed from there. But and if you want to write a check, you can send it to not the address I gave before, but the P.O. Box 268, and that's Clinton 37717. So there are ways that you can give financially, in kind, professional volunteers. You know, this is our church's 5th RAM clinic. So 2011, 2013, 2015, 2018, and then we were due at the beginning of COVID, and we didn't approach it that year because it was very complicated that year, and RAM was still trying to figure out, you know, how they were providing these services. So it's been over 5 years since we've had one, and a lot has changed since then. We used to pack the gym floor with 40 dental chairs, and we saw probably almost 1,000 patients, you know, but nowadays it's really neat to see. Actually, they have separate tents for each separate dental area, a separate HEPA filtration system to give a certain air and then take the air out. It's really impressive to see, but our gym capacity is only 20 dental units right now, and so we have 20 dental lanes, and but it's also harder to get the professionals because there are more RAM clinics around, and our professionals are getting taxed for their very valuable time, and so we are still in need of professionals, both in dental and vision and medical, especially for Sunday. Sunday, being the half a day, I really thought that would be the one people would snatch up, but it hasn't been. And so on, let's see, I'll check my notes here, on Saturday, we could still use some vision professionals, optometrists, ophthalmologists. We still need opticians. And then on Sunday, we are still in a very need of a dentist, whether that be oral surgeons, prosthodontist, endodontist, periodontist, or just general dentist. We need hygienists as well on Sunday. We need a medical doctor on Sunday. We had that covered, and somebody had to drop out, and so we need that's a need we have. And then opticians also on Sunday, and we can always still use more vision doctors on both days. So if you would like to volunteer, and if you're a professional, please, we beg you, because we can't make it happen without you, and we know your time is valuable and already overtaxed. But if you can at all give your time either on Sunday for a half day or Saturday for a full day, we would appreciate hearing from you. And you can contact me either by cell phone, which is 865-924-0420. I'm the missions director there at the church, but I will put you in touch with the right team. Or you can email me at amanda@fbclinton.org, amanda@fbclinton.org. So that's the volunteer spiel.
And we'll try to put that information also in the content below. So if you didn't have time to write that down, just look into the description, the detail of the pod. So that's great. That covers volunteers, service providers, those kinds of things. If I'm watching this and I think I need to come to this clinic for one of those needs, is this only for people who live in Anderson County, or is it are there geographic limitations?
There are not geographic limitations. When we don't ask for ID and we don't ask for proof of residency, really you can come from anywhere. We have people coming from other states. We have people coming from other counties, and so it really doesn't matter where you live if you show up and need a service. And if you get there in enough, first come, first serve, but if you get in line, then you can have the service. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. And again, we listed the services available in those 3 areas, but there's also the resource area. You can come and just get information and freebies if you just want to come get the information. There'll be Anderson County EMS is going to set up their ambulance, I believe, with an ambulance tour. There's going to be a physical therapy provider that can do evaluations and fall risk assessments, and so there'll be some services of different types and a lot of information in that area. a lot of people ask often about dentures.
Yep.
And in the past, our RAM clinic has been able to offer dentures, but RAM does a bit of a different system. Now, a lot of things have changed with RAM over the past 5 years, and with the effects of COVID, like the dental area I mentioned. They also have now an automated parking system where instead of people coming to registration in groves, they can send 5, 10 at a time. They'll contact your car, or if you don't have a car, then they'll get you situated otherwise, and you'll be able to still stay in the parking lot. But so the people trickle through a little longer, the day lasts a little longer, but they get folks processed a different way. But they also do all their dentures with a denture trailer now.
Okay.
And as is my understanding that they only have one denture trailer, so it's in high demand. And so I don't fully understand how they can make on-site dentures. It blows my mind a little bit, but we did not have the fortune of getting the denture trailer. But the denture trailer is going to be available at the Clinton Walmart just a couple weeks later.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I didn't write down the date or have it in my mind right now, but you can get on the RAM website and see that.
Yeah.
But so if folks come to us in need of dentures, we are simply going to refer folks to that denture clinic just a couple weeks later in November. So that's a great thing to know.
Excellent.
If you need that.
You mentioned first come, first serve. Have you guys been able to determine what will be the volume of people that you will be able to manage on Saturday and Sunday? Is that a kind of a game time decision?
Yeah, it's really affected by a lot of different factors, and so it's actually a rule of RAM that we're not allowed to guess or specify how many patients we can take, because if they have a certain amount of professionals, for instance, you can do a lot more cleanings than you can extractions perhaps, and so it depends on what the people need when they come. If they're needing the quicker services, you can process more people. If they're needing the longer services, not so much. The amount of professionals you have doing those services, if everybody needs the long services and you have fewer of those professionals, then it takes longer and you can process less. And then also, if professionals, if everybody's just really, really getting worn out, say you have all retired professionals and they just can't have the stamina, then you may have to close early. There's a lot of different factors. So we're not allowed to advertise an end time or a speculation of how many patients. Afterwards, we can give statistics, but not beforehand.
That's good to know. I did not. That makes complete sense.
Yeah, and I mentioned, before in 2011 doing almost 1,000 patients, but it's good to note that nowadays with the less professionals and with the different changes of RAM since COVID, we expect far less, patients. But with the changes they've made, it almost seems like the quality of care has gone up, and the maybe personableness and the way they process people seems a little bit more kind now, perhaps. And so it's improvements, maybe less, but there's also more clinics around. If you can't get in at our clinic, you can find another clinic in the area that you
and
can.
To that end, if you're not, since the last day to volunteer for this one is today when we're filming this, you can go to the RAM website and see other clinics that you can help volunteer for. So don't think that this is your only opportunity.
No, absolutely. And just want to point out, we had traditionally done this every 3 years, and after every RAM clinic, we reevaluate to see, our experience and how we think that we can put our time and our resources towards the best outcome. So we'll reevaluate and see if we'll have another one. But I think the Free Medical Clinic of Oak Ridge is, they had, I could be wrong, but their first clinic last year or recently, and they're intending to do it every other year. So at least in Anderson County, we've got another place that's providing services other than just us now. And so that would be a great place to check. You can, just as a note, if you want to give financially, if you want to support this effort, you can give directly to RAM. You can get on the RAM website and you can give directly to them, and that would help their overall purposes and their overall clinics all over the nation, perhaps the world. But you can also, if you want to keep the funds local, you can either give through the means that I said earlier with the church's website and give to our clinic specifically, or if you don't have the means to right now, but you want to affect people here locally, you might check into the Free Medical Clinic. I'm sure they would be able to somehow use those funds in their next clinic, which I think should be next year. So a couple things. One, Ridgeview has been a participant in the resource
vendor area at the clinic at the church, and I must tell you, it is you guys have, in conjunction with RAM, have refined that process. It is a well-operated machine, and if you have an interest in seeing what gratitude looks like from both ends of service provision and recipient being cared for, it oozes at these RAM clinics, and it is a powerful experience to see the least of these having their needs met. So, and that's exactly what churches should be doing.
Yeah.
So I applaud you guys for hosting.
Well, it really is a beautiful thing. It's funny because when we started doing this many years ago, people would come, it's obviously it's on a Sunday. We can't have services when the campus is taken over and they say, this is a church, on Sunday, you're not having church on Sunday? What about your offering plate? What about your, you're not having church on Sunday? And our pastor then, was very famous for saying, we are having church, and thank you for coming today. This is church at its best, and thank you for coming to our services today. So it's very true. It is what churches should be doing. But we say the least of these, and perhaps, but we are always very inspired by the patients that come through, and we receive so much blessing from their kindness and their tenacity and their
courage,
their presence. So a high respect for the people that come through, and we learn so much and we benefit so much just by their presence. So we're grateful for any patients that can come. We look forward to hosting you. You are our most honored guest. And similar, we're in all of the especially all the volunteers, because it takes a village, but the professional volunteers that come, I know some that they give every week of their time for at the Anderson County Dental Clinic and things, and they still come to give on the weekends when we have, so we try to appreciate them in every way we can. And one thing our church is known for doing well is feeding the volunteers. So of course we'll have good food, and in the past we've had massages for volunteers. We're trying to currently find a provider to volunteer the time to give the professionals the massages, because it's just hard to bend over all day for 12 hours. And so we try to do little things like that to show appreciation to our professional volunteers. So
well, in true fashion, this is sharing the good news. So what else do we need to get out there that folks haven't heard, do you think?
I'm kind of scanning over my notes here really quick. I think that one thing we need to say is that if you are a media person, that perhaps hears this and say, oh, I'd like to cover that, or maybe I should come and witness and see, and I'd like to get the news out about, the wonderful work RAM does. You are welcome to come. When you show up, you need to find somebody in a green shirt. So our core, the RAM has a core team, but our leadership team will be in green shirt. This is the volunteer shirt for that day, so volunteers will perhaps be in blue, but the green shirts, they look like button-up fisherman type shirts or whatever you call them. But you find somebody there and you say that you are with the media, and we will immediately take you to the project coordinator, the RAM clinic coordinator, because all the media requests have to go through there. You have to have a special orientation, obviously very strict for confidentiality reasons with patients on what media can do, but you can get a behind-the-scenes tour and be able to report on the good work doing that way.
Great, good to know. Good. Well, you've been, Amanda, as you always are, whether it's the resource fair that you guys host or your role with the RAM Clinic, a wealth of information. I think this has been very helpful. We'll put as much detail in the notes below. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you to your church and to certainly all the volunteers and providers of the service. So,
and if I could follow it up just with one big thank you to our community, general support volunteers. I mean, we're aiming for 100. We have over 365 on one day of just total volunteers, but you can see that number. So we've had a great response in volunteers, a great response in fundraising. We're doing well. The more we have, the more services we can provide. But two of our top we have a gold and a platinum sponsorship, and the platinum MIG insurance. Thank you to y'all, and then also Smile 180 is a gold level sponsorship, and so we're grateful to them, but also just to everybody who has been giving. Whether the other day, somebody went out and bought a can of beets, for the thing. Whether you're giving a can of beets, for the salad bar there, or whether you're giving, thousands and thousands of dollars, or whether you're giving your time, we just really, really appreciate you. Thank you for the community reception for this event. And
I can see no better way to end than with gratitude. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in, and help spread the word, folks. That'll help everybody. Take good care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you so much.